Hello. We might be live right now. I think I'm learning why the beginning of all live streams is so awkward because I'm never sure what's happening. But we might be live right now, so if you can see me, then let us know. I won't be able to see comments, but TK can forward it on to me. I'm doing a solo mode today, playing on the hard difficulty, as well as we will have some expansions. We'll be able to see. Oh, right. We were having some technical issues with YouTube, and apparently it's not letting us change the name of the stream. So it may currently show as the development dive, which we live streamed last time, but this is the solo playthrough, and we'll see if we can fix that. If not, during the stream, after the stream, we can fix the name of the video. So this is the solo game. And can we tell, is there other people actually watching right now? Everything looks great? Okay. All right. So I will jump in and just assume that everything's good. So I'm doing the solo mode today. I'm not going to do a full teach ahead of time of how the solo mode works, but I will, I think, just kind of maybe briefly mention each thing as it comes up. And you can kind of see how that works, or you can watch one of the other solo playthroughs if you want to see like a full how to play. But I am using some expansions today. So we have the technologies up at the top. These are the advanced technologies that get better the more you use them. And so we're going to play with those today. We also have these new segments, and this is from the accommodations expansion. So we're using a couple modules from each expansion here today. So these ones here are going to have a different action on them that will happen every time there's a day in space, as well as you can see that there's the top and the bottom, where the rooms go or where the cabins are. They're not always in the middle like they are in the base game. So I need to pay attention to which segments I'm getting and make sure that they can connect to each other. So that'll be like an extra layer that I'll need to watch out for. We're also going to play with the starter cards, so I'm going to grab a couple of those. And so I got these two. So how this works is at the beginning of the game, before I take my first turn, I will pick one of these two cards, and I will start with that upgrade. So I will take the pictured token, gain whatever's on it, and then place it on the upgrade. And then the other one, I'm going to give to our AI player. We call her Rachel. And so she will also start with something removed from her tower. Rachel's board and stuff works a little bit differently. We don't need to keep track of resources or money or anything with her board. So we'll see how that works in a second. But our main goal with the solo mode and also with the expansions is to give the player, like, I need to follow all these new rules and I get to explore the new systems and everything. But we want to be able to do that while at the same time not making the AI's turn super complicated. So it's going to be still very basic and easy to run the AI turns. But on my turn, I'll be able to play with all the new cool stuff. I've also got the expert ability that's in play in this game is this expert here that allows me. So when I launch with an expert, this is one of the experts where I actually want to launch with them. So if I'm not launching with them, they don't do anything different on the board. But when I am using them to launch and I'm visiting one of the destinations, I can get any of my guests to go on an excursion for one ad fewer. So if I match them, if I'm bringing the orange guest to the orange destination, I can actually get them to go on the excursions for free. They don't need to pay any ads. And then anything that doesn't match, I would normally pay 2. Instead, with this expert, I would only pay 1. So this could really help me with reduce those ad costs while I'm visiting the different destinations. So that's another thing that is probably going to be new. We also have these goals here in play. So I'm trying to build developments in the network as well as on technologies. I'm trying to build segments that are worth a certain amount of victory points, so the blue victory point icon. And then I'm also supposed to have tokens on different destinations. Now, this one will be slightly easier with the particular module that I'm playing, because I'm going to start the game with one of these cards. So that'll make it a little bit easier for me to do that one. And so the different modules can affect the difficulty a little bit, so you can kind of customize it however you want. If you're using a certain thing and you're finding it's too hard, you could make the AI a little bit easier, or you can make the AI harder if a module is making it too easy for you. But this was just random, so this is the goals that I'm going for here. But the AI's goals, so Rachel's goals, are always just set. So we wanted her goals to be very simple, and so she doesn't need to try to do those goals, the same ones I'm going for. She just has 3 of them, and they're always in play. So there's one which is launching different shuttles. And on the back of these tokens, you can see these are the different difficulty levels. So we're playing on hard today, so we're going to use the numbers on the right. So when she launches her second shuttle, so if she launches the same shuttle twice, that doesn't count. But as soon as she launches her second different shuttle, then she will accomplish that goal. That's corresponding to the goal on the right. And then we've got the segments. So as soon as she builds 5 segments, she will accomplish that goal. This one corresponds to my middle one. And then she's also got this token over here. I've put it on the 5th development, because when she builds that 5th development, she'll accomplish that goal. And that corresponds to mine on the left. So if she does her goal before me, then my marker gets moved up and it makes it harder for me. But it does not work the other way. So if I accomplish one of these goals before she does, she's still just going to keep that same token there. So it makes it a little bit harder. But also then you don't need to manage moving this around or changing it up or anything like that. So I think we're about ready to start. I just need to grab an agenda card. So I'll grab one of those. So I got Overtime, which allows me to launch as my second action. This is maybe my favorite card in the game, so that's nice to have. I definitely like that card. All right, and then just during setup, just like in a normal game, the player that goes second, so in this case, Rachel's always going to go second. So she's going to place her development, build her development, and then grab one of the blueprints here first. So to do that, we're just going to look at her card. And she's got this card here. It's got a 3 and a 2. So we always use the first number unless the first number doesn't apply. And then we would go to the second number. So she's going to build a development on spot number 3. And we just build top down from left to right. So we're going to grab this one from the food. And spot number 3, we start by counting basically like a clock. So this spot here is number 1. This spot's 2, and this spot's 3. There's already a development there, so we're just going to move over 1 clockwise. She's going to build here, gain a reputation, and then using that same number again, so number 3, she's going to take the 3rd blueprint. So she'll take that. It's actually just discarded. Just gets rid of that at the beginning here. And then now I get to do my setup. So I'm going to build a development, and I think I want to build my fuel development. And I like this spot. I'm definitely a big fan of connecting blueprints to building. But that's just me. There's always lots of good spots, but when I see that available, I'm like, okay, I kind of like comboing those ones. So I gained a reputation for that, and I'm going to take Shopping Hub, which is going to give me some money, which I would definitely need here, because I'm going to need to build some expensive segments if I'm going to get the higher victory point segments. Always cost a little bit more. Okay, so that part is all set up. So now I can take the first turn of the game. Before I take my first turn, I pick one of these 2 cards. So I'm going to take this one, and it gives me 4 resources, and I have exactly room for 4, so I max out my resources. And then I remove that token, and I place it onto this upgrade. So this upgrade, whenever I gain reputation, I will gain 1 extra reputation. So hopefully, in the solo mode, Rachel's always going to be racing up the reputation track, and it can be hard to keep up. So we'll see if maybe I can challenge her on the reputation. So the one that she gets here gives her money, which doesn't do anything for her. She always has enough money to do whatever she wants. So she doesn't need to worry about that. And then she'll just place it here onto the orange destination. And now we're done with these cards. So I'll just set them aside. All right, I'm ready to take my first turn. I need to figure out what I want to do. So let's see. I do want to build this segment, but nothing else I want to build. I might be losing a reputation already just to look at some other segments. Yeah, let's do that. So we can actually do this action before placing my worker. So this is an anytime on your turn type thing. So I'm going to spend a reputation. So I'm going to move down on here. And I'm just going to wipe all of these because I want to try to find more of these family icons. So let's see what we get. This is not looking too good. All right, there's something. Does that one fit with what I have? It does not. So I'd need to get another one to go in between them if I was going to try to do that, which this one does work. Okay, so of course I have all the most expensive segments. That is fantastic. So I'm going to go here. Let's take that one and that one. So that'll be my first action. Okay, there another one showed up. This one actually works pretty good too. I might actually take blueprints again just because I like the way that that one fits. I might end up, maybe I'll just gamble. I might just build that one later. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to schedule, because I want to make sure that I get the one that I want here. And I'm going to need a bunch of money, so I'm going to take... I'm playing as yellow today. I'm going to go to this one. And that allows me to flip one of my tokens, so I'm going to flip the 4 money, so I'm just going to gain 4 money. And I've scheduled that. And so that'll be my turn. So now we go over to Rachel's turn. And her turn is pretty easy. So just like a normal player, she would advance any shuttles in space. And then she would take actions if she has a worker here. If not, she calls a meeting. And then if she accomplishes a goal, she'll do that. So to take an action, we're going to just flip the top card over. And we look at this card to see where she's going to place her worker. So she places her worker in the top middle. And then she's going to do this action. So you always just do the top action if you're able to, and then if you're not able to, you do the bottom. This top action, it doesn't matter where it is. So even though she's going to a location where this action is not available, we just kind of ignore that. She's able to do this build action anyway. So she's going to build 2 segments, and she uses this number here, number 2. And of course, she's going to build the one that I left. Sometimes it's like there's a real player there that's just trying to mess with me. So she's going to build this one, and then just the next one down. Now we can see that she actually did manage to connect these 2 cabins together, but that's not a requirement. So just to make her turns fast and easy, she does not need to. If this didn't match, she could still build it anyway, because we don't want to have you spend like a lot of time, figuring out which ones are possible and stuff on her turn. That's something that you can do on your turn for your own segments. She's just able to do it. So then once we do that, so in hard mode, on easy mode here, this would be the end of her turn always. Or if there's not this particular action there. But in hard mode, if she went to a location that happened to have the action that she's doing, she would actually get to take another turn. She'd flip another card over. We'd do another action. In this case, since we didn't place on that location, that doesn't apply. Now, she also does get to check to see if she can connect to it. So if there was a development here, then she would be connected to the action that she's doing, and she would get to draw another card. But in this case, because it's not connected, that's just her whole turn. That's all she got to do. So we got lucky this time, where she just got to do building, and doesn't get to do a second action. So now it's back over to my turn. And I'm going to probably just start working on building these segments here, because I've got 6, so I still don't even have quite enough to build all 3 of them at the moment. But let's see if maybe something slightly cheaper came up. Or I will just have to maybe just build, only build a couple segments to start off. Okay, so I could build a little bit differently. I think I do want to try to build this. This is going to be a pretty good shuttle, if I can manage it. It's just very expensive to start with. So let's go. Actually, I haven't looked at the cards yet. Can gain agenda refill bonuses twice. Gain $5 when I put a cube out, so that'll be a good one. Oh, I could double the amount that I'm getting. Okay. That one's going to be pretty good. That'll give me a lot of money. So I might want to do that. I can also advertise for my cruise and get money that way. So that seems like a pretty decent thing. Okay, so let's go over here. We'll build those segments a little later. I'm going to take 2 cards first. So I'll take commissions and fees. And then, I will take critical thinker. Take the 2 of those. And now let's advertise. So I'm going to bring, I will have an orange. And there is actually technology to make advertising cheaper. But there's nothing, I'd have to build a development there if I was to do that. So I'll probably just advertise to these 2. Ooh, even though this orange one doesn't match anything on there. See, that's not great. I'll get to activate one of my segments with an orange guest, but it's not necessarily the best move here. But let's do it anyway. So I'm going to spend 2 ads to bring these 2 guests over. It's going to pay me $4. I'll take 4. And then I would gain 2 reputation. So I'll move up 2. And because of my upgrade that I start with, I move 1 extra. So I did get 3 reputation and $4 from that. All right, so back to Rachel's turn. We're going to flip a card over, and look at that. So she's going to this spot here, where I have a worker. So I'm going to take my worker back, and gained a funding bonus. And since I don't have any ads, and I'll need some unless I can hire an expert right away, which I probably won't be able to. I need quite a bit of money to do that. So let's see. I'm gonna have a couple turns after I launch before I actually need the ads. I think I'll actually take more money just because I'm gonna need so much right now, and I'll just I'll have to get some ads before we actually hit those destinations. Okay, so that was her bump. Now it actually do her turn. She is taking 2 cards, so she's gonna take the other 2 cards. They don't actually go into her hand. She's just essentially just discarding these. Normally, if I was picking, so I would look at the number here, and now I'd go to number 6, which there's only 4 options. So we can't use the first number. We'd go to the second number, which is number 1. So that'd be the top one here. Because there wasn't a card there, she would just go down. In this case, because there were only 2 cards there, I just knew that she's going to pick those 2 cards. It was fine. But normally when you're doing this, if all 4 cards were there, you would look at the number and take that number and then the next one. So that was her first action. And she did this top action, so she is not connected to that action. It's not at her location. She's not connected. So it'll just be that action as well. So right now she's off to a little bit of a slow start, but as these, especially once all the developments are filled in and stuff, she'll be able to do that a little bit more often. But right now I think we're getting pretty lucky with not, she bumped me and didn't even do a second action. So far, so good. It's back to my turn. I do have my worker back. So I'm gonna start building. So let's go back up to here. And I'm gonna build a couple segments. So let's see, do I have enough to build everything now? 6, 6, and 4. I do have enough. If I really wanted to be efficient with my actions, then I should probably like get another shuttle and have another spot to build. But I don't know if I'll bother doing that yet, just because she is gonna really, usually she's gonna rush the game pretty quick when you're playing on hard mode. So I might want to sacrifice a little bit of efficiency here, just so I can launch a little bit sooner. But I will need a couple more resources, because I'm going to need 4 fuel to launch, and then 3 of each. And I will not quite have enough to do that. I can get 2 resources from reputation if I just decide to drop down. And I don't have room for that right now. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna build all 3 segments right now. Let's just do that. So I'm gonna pay 12 for the first 2, 6 and 6, and this other one costs 4. So let's spend 4 on that one. And so now I've built out my 3, and so yeah, I just didn't build another one, but I think I'll just have to deal with that. All right, so that was my turn. So it's back to her. So Rachel does not have any workers, so she's going to call a meeting. So her meeting works very similar to how a normal player's meeting would work. She's going to get a funding bonus for each of these. For a funding bonus, she always takes points. So she's going to get 2 points. And that's because whenever she builds things or launches, she doesn't really keep track of resources. She just always has enough. So she'll just take points for those funding bonuses. On the easier difficulties, this would just be the end of her turn here. But on hard, she is going to do 1 action. So we'll flip a card. She's going to do this advertise action. And for advertising, we're going to look at the first number is a 5. So there's only 4 options here. So we're going to use the second number, which is a 2. So she's going to advertise for this one here. And so first, she tries to spend as a few ads as possible. So she goes to this section. She gets an adventurous guest. And then she looks at this section, starting from the left again, and she's going to take another adventurous guest. So it would give her money, but we don't keep track of that. We do keep track of reputation. So she's going to gain 2 reputation to skip over me here. Now, when calling a meeting, she never gets to do a second action because she's not putting anyone on the board, so there's no chance of there being a second action. But yeah, so that would be her turn. So now it's coming back to me, and I do need to call a meeting. Oh, I should have thought of that. That's very silly of me. Because I'll get to take another action right now. So I could have done something differently last time. All right, let's just pull back. We get 2 funding bonuses. We're maxed on our resources, so we don't need any resources. I could build... Yeah, I'll probably build at least 1 development. So let's take 2 money. And then for my action, I'm going to take more blueprints. So this will be for a future shuttle. And let's see. I can gain reputation. And that's always good, especially with what I already have. So let's grab that one. And then if we want something that connects to it, maybe we'll do the massage lounge. So those will connect later. Okay. So back to Rachel's turn. She's going to place on the corner and then grab resources. So the resources are from the cards here, but since there are no cards, we're going to use the discard. And so she would try to take this resource 3 times, which there's not enough room there. So instead, she's going to do the bottom action, which is to refill it. So the first resource that she would have taken that she can't, she refills that type. So she's going to refill the food one in this case. And so since she took the bottom action, which is refilling food, she's not connected to that action. And so that is the end of her turn. So we'll get another chance to do something good here. So I can almost launch. Oh, she does gain a reputation for doing that action. Just so she always gains the reputation. I can almost launch, but I don't quite have enough resources or room for resources. So I think I want to build a development. And so I'm going to go over here. And unfortunately, so I've got this blue worker. So this is a non-player color worker. And it basically is just another worker that you can bump around the board. So because blue's not actually playing, it doesn't get bumped back to their board. It goes to the next space clockwise, which will now bump Rachel back to her board. And so she's going to get another point for that, and have more actions before she's taken a meeting again. So I'm going to build a development, and I'm going to build one of these ones. Let's do the food. And since I actually do need fuel, so I'll put it on the space elevator, so that reduces my fuel cost by 1. And then as the game goes on, this can get up to 2, so I could potentially reduce all my fuel costs by 2. So this will cost me 5 money. And then I gain a reputation because I was the first person to build here. And with my ability, it's a second reputation, so I move up 2. And then now for my second action, I will take another shuttle because I will be building into one later. And let's see, I can launch different shuttles. Score for launching different shuttles. I can score for this. There's some decent ones here. Unfortunately, the ones that have a card on them, I can draw a card, but I have to spend a reputation to do it because there aren't any cards in the display. So I could take the top card. That's actually, you know what? That actually is not bad right now because I would take a reputation hit, but the card that's in the display is Windfall, which means that if I refill this, I get to do all of those things. I get all of those things twice. So it's a decent time to take one, maybe. Although I just have a feeling that she's going to go and do it first if I decide to do that. But you know what? I just will anyway. I'll just I'll take a chance. So let's see. I am going to be going over here. Let's go. I will have a number of shuttles by the end of the game with 3 segments. So I'll just take this one. So it allows me to draw a card. So I'll take the Windfall, which costs a reputation. And then I get 2 points. So I'm trying to keep up here. And so now I've got this other spot where I can build. So that will come in handy a little bit later. All right, so we're almost ready to launch here. Actually, we could actually launch. Could actually do that. I'll probably launch next turn. Maybe we'll see. Let's see what she does, but okay, so grabbing some new cockpit and engine here, refilling that. All right, so back over to her turn. So she's going to place in the top left, and she's going to hire an expert worker. So for this one, we look to see, does the expert worker cost 7 or less than 7? So this one over here costs 9, and this one costs 10. So she's not going to hire the expert yet. So instead, she's going to build a development. And this one is going to go into the network on spot number 1. So that was here. That's already taken, so she'll build on the next spot, which is there, and gain a reputation for that. Now she placed over here, so she's not connected to it. So again, she's only taking 1 action. I'm getting pretty lucky with those. The other night I was playing, and she was getting double actions all the time, and she did end up winning that one. All right, so back to my turn. I think I will launch, and I might. Yeah, you know what? I don't think I need to take a gamble here. Oh right, I forgot. I have overtime. This is okay. This is fantastic. This is great. So I'm gonna play my worker here. Gonna bump blue over 1 space, and then I will do this action, and I will play Windfall. So I get each of these things twice. So I'm gonna gain 2 reputation, which is actually 3 reputation because of my bonus. I'm gonna gain 2 ads. I'll take those. I'm gonna gain 2 money. Take that. I gain 2 resources, but I only have room for 1, so that's fine. Just gain 1. And then I refill these. Okay, so then I will play overtime so that I can just launch as my second action instead of doing another action down here. So that is why I like that card. It gives you lots of flexibility. All right, so as part of my launch process, I need to take the cruise and put it up here. I'll get my cruise consultant back into the office, and then I'll load up my 2 guests. They're going to go into their cabins. All right. Then I will place a cube onto the track. I need to pay my costs. So I have 2 guests plus 1 pilot is 3 food. I have 3 segments and only 2 oxygen. So I need to spend 2 oxygen. So unfortunately, I will need to lose the reputation I just got, but that's okay because I got the resource that I desperately need. And then fuel, it costs 4. I have 3, but I also have my technology. So my technology is a space elevator, so it reduces the cost. Now, every time that you use a technology with these advanced technologies, you're going to move this marker up. So we're skipping over this space because we're only playing the equivalent of a 2-player game. So I'm going to ignore this one, it goes right to here, and then next time I'll ignore this one and go right to here. So this icon means that for somebody else to buy or use this, it'll cost them 1 extra money. So if I didn't have this and was paying the bank to use it, I would have to pay wherever I am. So like right now I'm at cost 2. I'd have to pay 1 extra. I have to pay 3 to the bank to use it once. If I was building it, I would pay my normal cost underneath my column, but then plus 1 because of that icon. So when it gets here, it'll actually be 2 extra. When it gets to the end, it is 2 extra as well, but it becomes more powerful. So these become more powerful the more they get used, but also eventually they will be an actual better version of the technology. So you can kind of get them in early and take advantage of it the whole time, or you can buy them later where it's already better. You'll just have to pay a little bit extra to do that. So that is the resources done. So now I'm going to score this shuttle. So it's going to give me 3 points, and then I'll flip it over. So I am currently in the lead. And then I'll take this token and load it up. And then I'm on board, and so we just need to bring out a new cruise. So anyone that's in line is excited about this new cruise. So that's the relaxation guests are excited. And then we'll add 1 relaxation and 1 adventure to the end here, since I launched with 2. All right, so that's my turn done. So that was a good first launch. All right. So now Rachel's turn. Okay, so she is also going to launch, actually. So this top one is saying, so instead of placing onto the board, we're going to launch a shuttle. This one is saying she has to launch a shuttle that's at least size 2, so she does have one that's size 2. There's another card that says launch a size 3 shuttle. So if that one came out, then we actually wouldn't launch right now. We would wait. She would build segments and then launch a little bit later. So she's going to go through a launch process as well. So for her launch process, she kind of gets to sort of cheat. It's like it's basically all these rules are to make it as simple and easy as possible for you to run this. So she didn't have to schedule a cruise. She's basically she's doing it like right now. So we're going to use the number system again. So on this card here, it's number 1. So we're going to take the top cruise, which is that one. And then she's going to do, if there were people, guests already pre-sold there, she would take those. But because there's not, she's just going to do a last minute sale. And so she's looking at the first section. There is a relaxation guest, so she'll take that. And then her cruise consultant just stays in the office, so we don't need to do anything there. Just going to put a cube out onto the track. Now, for paying the costs, since we don't track her resources, she's just always assumes, we're assuming that she has enough food and oxygen to be able to do this. So we don't need to worry about that. But we do look at the fuel cost, and this one is 2, which is fine. Because you would actually look at how many developments she's built in the fuel row. And that's kind of her baseline value. So right now, like we're assuming that she has 2 fuel. And so she has enough already. If it was one of the longer trips, then she would have to go down on reputation to gain more fuel as she needs it. But in this case, she just has enough already. So she's going to score it and flip it. So the way that she scores shuttles is a little bit different. Since she doesn't build things specifically to score, we just simplify that. And so like instead of looking at the criteria of like this is how many segments she's built, we ignore that and instead just take all of the numbers on the left here. So like this gives 1 point, this gives 2 points, and this gives 3 points. So she's getting 6 points to launch this shuttle. So we'll move her up by 6. And so that's just an easy way of scoring points without you having to worry about her building the right things efficiently to score points. And then now we're going to take a token. So she always takes one of the tokens from the bottom part of her tower. Just ignore anything that's on it. She's just taking it and moving it over. And this has now made this expert cheaper. So if that card comes up again later to hire her expert, she can now hire this expert down here. And then if that expert is already hired, then she would instead remove the VP token so that she can start scoring 2 VP every time instead. So she's going to get onto the shuttle there, and another cruise comes out. This one is exciting to both purple and orange, so they're going to move up, and then we're going to add 1 purple to the end. All right, so that's her launch. So it's back to my turn. I'm going to do a day in space. So for a day in space, there's a little bit of a kind of mini worker placement game going on here, where instead of just doing the basic game of looking at how many symbols I have and how many guests I have, instead I'm going to take each guest and put them in one of the places where they want to go. So I could take this family guest and either go to the shopping hub or to 5D cinema. So at the shopping hub, I gain 1 money for every family icon I have in the shuttle. I can gain 2 money here. Or I can go down here and take a card. And since there's 4 fresh new cards here, that feels like a pretty good way to go. So I think I'm going to go down here and take a card. And there's a card to do a hiring bonus of an expert. I do like that one. That's pretty good. Immaculate Schematics is also quite good, especially in this version of the game where some segments are very expensive. So maybe I will take Immaculate Schematics. And then for wine tasting, I get to build a segment. Oh, okay. So yeah, you know what? That really makes sense. I took Immaculate Schematics because I. Okay, yeah, this is gonna be pretty good. So I will immediately use Immaculate Schematics. Oh, you know what? I don't think I can. Because it's not technically, I'm not doing the full build action. So I don't think I'd be able to do it. So I could lose a bunch of money, reputation to gain money to build one of these other segments. Oh man. You know what? I'm going to have to flip-flop. Instead of going to the 5D Cinema to pick up the card, I'm going to instead take 2 money so that I can then use it to build. So I'll spend the 4 to then build one of these ones that I already have. And then I will just try to get that card later on my turn, on a future turn. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Okay, so I'll just build this one. I don't think it matters. No, just in case I do that the other way. All right, so I'll build that one. Okay, so that's my day in space. So there's a little bit more to it, a little bit more, there's more decisions, and especially when you have some of these that give you kind of actions, can really open up the possibilities a little bit there. Now for my turn, I don't have anyone in my break room, so I just need to call a meeting, so I'll pull my worker back. And I'm definitely going to be taking blueprints for my action. So I want to grab this expensive one probably, and hopefully get a card, be able to build it for free. So I'm going to take more money as my funding bonus, and I'm going to take some blueprints. I'm going to take that one. So that one's going to fit in with that one there. And then one more. This other one doesn't matter quite as much. Oh, I'm already at 11 victory points, actually, towards that goal. That's pretty good. 11. Yeah, I'll be able to get that goal pretty soon, actually. So maybe I just want some cheaper ones for the future, so I don't need to spend so much. Let's take a bounce park. All right. Okay. And I will be able to build another segment after. Yeah. Okay. All right, I think that should work out pretty well. So back over to Rachel's turn. So the first thing she does in her turn, she also advances. She arrives at a destination. She's always going to drop off her upgrade on the first destination. Doesn't matter where you put it, since these abilities don't do anything for her. So she's going to drop that off first, and then she's just going to score. So again, we don't need to keep track of ads or anything. She just always has enough ads. So she's got 1 guest. She's going to score 4 points. So we'll move her up 4. Okay. All right, then now she does her turn. She doesn't have anybody, so she's also calling a meeting. That gives her 1 point. And then she will flip 1 card. She's going to take cards. Oh, do not take the card. She's taking it. She's taking it. That's That was my card. How does she do it every time? I don't get it. The other one I was considering was also hiring bonus, so that's great. She just took both of those. I don't know how the AI manages to do this to me. You're just a deck of cards. How are you so smart? Okay. So back over to my turn. I'm advancing, and I was gonna use the take a card thing. I still might. Hmm. Yeah, man. That's crazy. How do you do it? Okay, I do like these other cards. So I will go, let's take the family guest. We're gonna go down and pick up a card. This new one that will get people to help us name it, but it allows you to, when you're launching, to just take resources from the silo as you launch, which is pretty darn cool. And then I'll keep my orange one on wine tasting. It allows me to build again. So luckily I did take a bounce park, which is quite affordable and only costs 1 because I only have 1. So 9. I'm at 12 victory points on these already, and I just need 15. So that's going pretty well. All right. So for my action, I would like to get some money. Money over here. And then I could hire someone. Kind of want to take this first. Yeah, we'll see. I think I will come down here because I do need resources anyway. And let's see, next turn I'm gonna want to have 3 ads. And then the turn after that, I'm gonna want to have 4 ads. That is a lot of ads. That's too bad. Okay, so I'm gonna take 2 fuel and 1 oxygen as my first action. My second action, I think I do want this ad and the money and the resource. It's either that or I just like completely empty this out so that I can get more food and oxygen. I do kind of want that ad. Okay, I'll refill this. So I will take 1 ad. I will take 1 money, and I will take 1 resource. So let's do. Let's do the fuel. See if I end up refilling the other one. Let's do the oxygen actually. Oh, sorry, that one did not come from the silo. I was just getting it for free, but I'll take the oxygen. This gets discarded, and I refilled those. All right, so that was my 2 actions. So now Rachel's going to do a day in space. So day in space for Rachel is very easy. It's just you get 1 reputation for every guest. So she's going to gain 1 reputation on there. And that's it. That's pretty easy. So now she takes her turn. It is going to be to draw cards. And I just refilled them. So lucky for her. So I'm going to take card number 2. And then the next one. So those are both gone. All right. And then she is not connected. Wow, we're just getting so lucky that she's only doing one thing at a time. There's a decent chance that that she is connected to a location. But we're getting lucky so far. So back to my turn. I advance my worker. I am going to drop this off here. So I'm kind of setting up a good combo here, where whenever I gain reputation, I gain an extra reputation. And as I gain reputation, I also gain all the bonuses underneath them. So this will be a fun combo that I haven't done in any of the live streams yet. I've been doing other things. So I figured I'd go for that one today. Okay, so I'm doing that, and then now I will have my guests go on an excursion, and I will pay 3 ads to get them both to go. So 1 for the family and 2 for the adventurous. I gain 4 points each. So I'm just behind Rachel at 18. All right. Now I am calling another meeting. I need to build more developments and also get an expert, so I don't need to call so many meetings. That's the thing about these early long trips. All right, what kind of funding bonus do I want? So I'm going to need plenty of ads. But I also am going to take an action. So you know what? I'll take 1 money as my funding. But then as my action, I will spend both of those monies to get 2 ads as well as 2 resources. And maybe I'll do 1 food, 1 fuel, just in case. Okay. All right. I think I'm decently happy with that. All right. So that was my turn. So we go back to Rachel, and she's gonna advance the cruise. So she comes back just like anybody else. And so I actually usually I'm playing on this board, but we also included this card because some people like playing with the card next to this other card. But if I ever just if I ever go back to the break room, it doesn't really matter as long as you're just paying attention to which one you want to use. So we have like a kind of a solo break room with some of the solo reminder stuff on it. And this is going to change a little bit by the time the game actually comes out with some different versions of it depending on the difficulty to help remind you about the different difficulty settings. So let's return this stuff. So this is just kind of like anybody else returning. The cruise goes back, the guest goes back. And I don't think I give her a point though. So let me give her a point because that was for the funding bonus. And now she does have a worker. And she's going to launch again, although she's only got 3. This one needs to be a big shuttle. So instead of launching her little shuttle again, she's just actually going to build instead. So we will put her out onto the board. Oh, you know what? I did forget to do something on my turn. So I actually did accomplish this goal. So we need to move that up here and do that. Which actually changes her thing. Luckily, it doesn't change her thing too much. So during the AGM, we're going to do the scoring as normal. We got 2 yellow cubes times 2 for me, so I'm getting 4 points. And then she's got 1 cube, but she's furthest ahead on reputation track. So she's getting 2 times 1 for 2 points, so we are literally tied. And then in a 1 and 2 player game, we do a couple extra things here. So the non-player character upgrades one of their workers here. So this becomes an expert. And basically it works just like the other expert or the other worker, except instead of stopping at an empty space, it keeps going until it can bump something, unless there's nothing for it to bump. So just like in the normal game, you can't bump yourself unless you have that ability to be able to bump yourself. And in this case, so this worker would have been here when Rachel came here, and it would skip over this if it had, if I was there on one of these others to bump. But since I'm not there, it just does stop at the empty space. But these experts are more likely to bump other people when they're out. And then also we need to build some developments. And so these developments are just these blue ones that we would normally set aside at the beginning of the game. And you just grab a technology that you're not using already. And you look at the back. So just like during the normal setup of the game, it tells you where you should build them. So this development goes here, this one goes here, and this one goes here. And when we're playing with this setting here, it is just going to move this up 1 when it gets built by this neutral player. And so this is going to be a little bit more expensive for me to buy it, but it allows me to have my pilot act as one of these, as one of the guests as well, and activate something on my shuttle. So that is handy to have a little bit later. Okay, so that was the AGM that I should have done at the end of my turn. And so we can go back to her turn. So she's not launching, she's building instead. And we placed in the bottom corner. So she's going to build using number 4. So that's this one and then this one. And she's just always going to build out her current shuttle. And then as soon as she needs another shuttle, so right now she needs another shuttle, she just takes one as part of her action. So she is taking number 4. And of course she is, because that's the one that scores the most for her. So yet again, like she's actually alive. And now she has 4 segments built. So as soon as she gets the 5th one, she'll accomplish this goal. And if she launches this shuttle, she'll accomplish that goal. Okay. All right. So that was building. And where she placed, she is not connecting to... she's not connected to that action. So she's just doing that one action. So yet again, I get away with it. All right. We're advancing... back to my turn here. We're advancing my cruise. And I'm arriving at the relaxing destination. I only have 2 ads, and I don't think I want to... I can't even... I can't even get a second ad if I... or 2 more ads, I should say, if I tanked my reputation. So I'll just spend these 2 ads and score one of them. And so we'll get... let's have the family's going to stay on the shuttle. Not that it matters. This is just thematically. The family's staying back. They're a little tired. Adventurous is going out and getting a massage. So we're going to get 4 points. And let's just reset from her turn. Okay. So that's all I'm doing there for advancement. And then now, I think I'm going to bump her again. Wow. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. Just have to be that way. So I'm going to bump her. So that's another point. And now I'm going to do this. So I'm going to refill the silo. And I held onto this card for a little while. So I'm going to... I think I'm just going to discard Critical Thinker. I could get 1 resource from it if it's a food, and then I would discard it. So, okay. I guess we'll take a little gamble before we do it. So I'm going to play this first. I get to look at the top 4 cards. So let's just draw 4 cards. And I discard all these. that are all great that I don't get to use. And basically what this does, critical thinker should actually be underneath these. It basically just gives me, the only reason I did that was just because I could get a food out of it. And then because whatever card I was taking, I was just going to discard it to use this anyway. So I discard that one to do the action. I discard commissions and fees to double my rewards from that action. So I can move fuel to the top, gain 10 money. I gain 2 reputation, and then +1 from my bonus. And then I moved up 3 reputation. Oh, I didn't even need to. That's funny. I didn't even need to do that. Because I'm getting 2 resources from my bonus of just as I move up, I gain everything. So I only have room for 1 resource. So I didn't even need to do that extra little special searching the deck action thing, but that's fine. I do get an ad from it, so that's good. All right, and then now that I've got a bunch of money, I could build a develop. I think I'm just going to hire my expert now because I want to, for my next launch, I want to have my expert so that I don't need to spend as many ads. So let's do that. I think let's just do that. So I'm going to hire my expert. So my expert costs 6, so I'm going to spend 6 of the 10 money that I just got to hire my expert. My expert does give me a funding bonus. I think I am going to take more money. Yeah, I'll take more money. Okay. Oh, I could take those guys. Hmm. Or I could gain more money from that. Yeah, I'll definitely take the money though. Because I'm gonna need quite a bit of money. Alright, so that was my 2 actions. So back to Rachel, she doesn't have anything in space anymore. So she's gonna place down here, which bumps this worker. She's gonna take resources. And so she's gonna take an oxygen and a fuel. And then back to the oxygen. Oh, okay, so she can't actually do that. So she's instead going to refill. And it would be the one that she couldn't take. So what I was doing for this is... oh, it's actually the other way around, because she's doing 3 first. So she's doing fuel, then oxygen, and then fuel. So she can do that, actually. So fuel, oxygen, and then fuel. So she is able to do that. She placed here, which is connected to this action, so she gets to do another card. So we get to see that. All right, so now she's hiring an expert. And she does have an expert that costs less than 7, so she's hiring this one. The expert for her works like any other worker, except whenever it's put onto the break room, she gets 2 funding bonuses for them. So that expert just gave her 2 points. All right, and that was both of her cards. So she actually got to do 2 things this time. All right, back to me. My worker comes back home. And I'm going to need to bump her again, I think. Schedule. I have to pay 1 and 1. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's still going to be pretty good. So I'm going to get an ad. I want double orange. So I'm going to spend 4 and then get 4 back for this one. I will need another. Okay, I'll take a money. Take a money for my funding bonus. And then let's see. I think this is going to be worth it. So I'm going to bump this expert, which bumps her. She gets another point. And then I'm going to pay the bank to use this one. So normally you'd pay that player, but since she's effectively just the bank, I pay the bank. And I'm also going to pay the bank to use this one. So I'm paying 1 and 1 for each of those. And then I'm going to take this action. And I think I probably want this one that she's already on. And so let's do that. Or take 4 ads. Yeah, let's go with my original. I'll go with my original plan. So I will take the one that she'd already scheduled, or she'd already advertised to. And that allows me to flip something. So I'm going to flip this one, build a development for 2 money. So sometimes it's fun to wait till later to build this because you can get one of your 7s for 2 cost. But I just want to get this one out of the way and also put it here where I'm about to advertise. And so I'm going to be able to advertise for cheaper. And then with my expert, when I launch, I'll be able to get them to go on excursions for fewer ads as well. So like I should be pretty set for ads if I can keep doing that. So when I built here, that gives me 2 reputation, because 1 from the normal thing, 1 from the bonus. It gives me an ad and a money. So money and ad. And then now I've already paid to use this other development, so I'm going to advertise. And I don't know that I care too much about which one I'm doing, but I'm going to advertise to both of these purple guests. And they will go, let's say to this top one. So because they match, I'm going to gain 2 reputation. I gain 2 money for each of them, so I'm going to gain a total of 4 money. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I gain 2 reputation plus a bonus reputation and everything I passed. So that's 2 resources and another money. I only have room for the 1 resource, but still great. And okay, so that was my 2 actions. So I will be set. I want to build another segment. Oh, I forgot to return this stuff here. It's much easier to forget things when I'm playing as a thing in the sky on TTS than when I'm sitting at the table, because I don't see things in front of me. Okay, so I returned the cruise and that. So yeah, I was basically just setting up. I want to build out this other shuttle and then launch it. And I wanted to make sure I had enough money to build the karaoke. And then I was gonna, hope to get something pretty sweet from my day in space. I get a bunch of resources and stuff. And I've got a card to be able to launch using resources on here. So like I should be pretty set for resources as well as for ads, hopefully. Okay, so I'm hoping that she bumps me, because then I will have an extra worker and then can launch with my expert later. So let's see what happens. So in this case, since we're out of cards, we just look at the back here. So this is the first card that we did. And she's going to use her expert, because her expert just takes precedence. Okay, so she doesn't bump me. I'm just going to set that aside here so we can see it. So she's doing this top action, but we've already hired this one. And this one, now that she's hired the first one, we're only going to hire another expert if it costs 4 or less than 4. So this one costs 8, so she's going to build a development, and it's going to go into the network. And using the number system, she's going to number 3, so 1, 2, 3. But in this case, she's always going to just go clockwise. So she would normally build here if there wasn't a space that has a spot open for reputation. So she is going to take that reputation spot. So she does that. And she does happen to be at that location. So she's going to draw another card. But since we got to the end of the pile, we're just going to shuffle the whole thing. And here's her new action. So she's taking 2 cards, which she's also connected to. Not that it matters, though, because you're still limited to just 2 cards per turn. But, so these cards are both discarded. All right, so that was a much better turn for her. And she didn't bump me. So, I mean, I could launch with this shuttle again. And it wouldn't be the worst thing, because at least during a day in space, I would get to build. But it has 2 orange guests, and I only have 1 place where they can go. So I really do kind of want to build again. Oh, and I can't. I would really like to go here, but I can't build myself. Because I would want to get another cockpit and engine so that I could build into it as well, unless I'm doing the less efficient thing again. Okay, we just had a question in the chat about which modules I'm playing with. So I'm playing with the upgradable technologies. So as these are used, oh, and that reminds me, I used this one, so it would move up to the next space here. And just a note about these, so something that we've discovered as we've played with them here, we're going to redesign these so that the markers go on top, because when these have a lot of developments next to them, this can kind of get in the way. So that's going to be different in the final version. So little things like that you might see that are different in final version. But these technologies get better and more expensive the more they get used. So that's one of the modules I'm playing with. I'm playing with these segments here, these new segments. So they give me a different action or a bonus that you get for a day in space. So you don't use the normal day in space rules. You use these, as well as they can only be built with cabin matching. So like I would have to make sure that I'm matching the segments together rather than anything can be built in any place. So we're using that segment. We also started the game with these cards. So these cards give you a starting upgrade. So we played with that. And so Rachel started with one of those starting upgrades as well. And then this is from an expansion. It's not a different module, but this expert is a different expert. So you want to launch with these experts, because when you arrive at a destination, all of the ad costs are 1 cheaper for every guest. So they're just really good at convincing all of your guests to go on excursions. You don't even need to advertise to them as much. So that's a different thing. And just this is in the base game, but just like not in the starting game, is the randomized locations or the actions. So I think that's everything we're playing with today, though. And then we are playing on hard mode for Rachel, the AI solo player. Okay. So yeah, I do really want to build before I launch, but I would be bumping her. So I mean, like, that's not the best. Yeah, I think I think I'll actually just launch this same shuttle again, just because I really don't want to bump her again. During a day in space, I'll get to build something. It'll be my last thing, so I'll have a bunch of time. But yeah, I think I'm good with that. And then maybe I'll just try to build this other shuttle as well to score even more points on this one. It's like I really did want to build and launch my new shuttle, but I think I'll just launch again. Since I don't want to I don't want to bump her. I've been bumping her too much. Okay. So, we're going to grab the cruise I scheduled. Going to take the guests. And so here's where maybe by the time I get there, the self-piloting software, or I could pay the bank to use it. During a day in space, I can have my pilot activate one of these other spots. So like that could be helpful. So maybe I'll think about doing that when I get there. Okay. So I'm returning my cruise consultant. I'm putting a cube out. I'm paying the costs. So I may not get a chance to play this later. So I think I will play this card. So I can use up to 4 resources from the silo for free. So I think I will do that. So I definitely need to pay all my oxygen from my board because there's none here. But let's do 4. Maybe we'll just do 2 and 2. So I need to pay 1 food and 1 fuel. The fuel cost is normally 4, but I do have this technology that makes it 3. And since I use it again, this moves up. So it's almost upgraded all the way. Okay, so that's everything paid for. And then I do need to move these down because I did 2 of each. All right, so then I'm going to score this one again. It's 5 points because I've built 5 different segments across all shuttles. All right. And then I've already flipped it, so I'm going to do that. Going to load up this token, get on board, and a new cruise comes out. So this is all our family guests get excited about the new cruise. 2 more guests come out. And we're off to Rachel's turn. Rachel's taking cards again. Okay, she's going to place up here. That's going to bump me. That's good. I like getting bumped. I don't like when she's getting bumped. I think I'm just going to take money because I probably will need more of it. So, all right. And then for her turn, she's taking 2 cards, but since there are no cards to take, she's instead going to do the refill action. So for her, it's pretty easy. The only thing that she can collect is reputation. So this other stuff we ignore, but she does gain the reputation for filling that. And then now we look at, is she connected to this refill action? She is not. So that's the only thing that she's doing on her turn. So back to me. I'm going to go on to the adventurous destination. And I get to unlock something because I think I do want to unlock something here. Unless I want to take the ability to bump myself. I could wait and then do the ability to bump myself. That might be nice. Because I'm really feeling like there's already a time here where I really wanted to bump myself. So maybe I'll wait and do that one. So I do get to have my orange guests go on an excursion here. So normally they cost 1 at each, but because of my expert ability, these are actually free. So I just get my expert just convinces them to go without even advertising, and I get 6 points. So I'm up to 37. Okay, and then for my turn, I do have my worker because I got bumped. So let's see. I do want to. I need to get another shuttle. That's for sure. I need another place to build into. I would have to pay both of them if I was doing this. Yeah, all right. I think I'm just gonna have to bump. I think I'm just gonna have to bump her expert. So her expert goes back. That gives her 2 funding bonuses, which are points. And let's see what kind of battles we got here. I'm actually going to be pretty good on this reputation one, and I like that it's giving me a card. So I might take that one. What are the cards? As a free action, take a cockpit and engine pair. Huh. I will be maxed out already. Family Vacation. That one is a very good card, but it's not as good when I have my expert out there. When launching, spending money instead of resources, that's another great one. That I like a lot of things that helps me launch. That's kind of my style. Use a technology without paying players, gain money for it. So that one could come in handy too. Yeah, I'll take this one. So I'll go for the reputation. It gives me 1 ad and 1 card. I will go with last minute purchase. And then I'm going to build a development. And somehow I'm going to beat her to developments. As well as, well, maybe this other one. I would need 7. And I'm spending too much. I'd have to get more money again if I was to build that one right now. Let's see, pay 1 and 1. Okay, no, this is better. So I'm going to do a slight retcon here, which is great when you're playing solo, because like there's nobody that can say otherwise. So when I went here instead, this would bump blue to here, so she'd still get bumped just like I just did. But now I have access to actually build immediately. So for my second action, so I need to pay the bank 1 for this one. I need to pay the bank 1 for this one. So I'll do that now. 1 and 1. Yeah, it's slightly unfortunate because then I still only have enough. But I'm just really trying to get this goal in before she takes it, because that's like one turn probably she's gonna get it. So let's build this big karaoke one. So it costs 7, which is exactly what I have. So I'm really kind of not being the most efficient with my actions here, but I just really want to beat her to these goals because sometimes she makes them quite difficult. So we'll see if that ends up being worth it. Maybe it's not. Okay, but now I do have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I can accomplish this goal. So that's good. So I did spend all my money and only built 1 segment instead of multiples, but I am setting up. These are also good for purple. So I'll try to do this one, I think. And if I have to call a meeting, then that's what I'll do. So yeah, I think I'm overall I'm happy with that turn. Okay, so back to Rachel. Going over to this corner here. It's actually bumping me. And since I'm out of cash, I'll take money. Okay. So Rachel's taking cards again. Number 3. So it's this one and then wraps around to this one. She is connected to that, so she'll draw again. She's building. Okay. She is building segments, which that would have made this next thing a little bit harder for me to get. So I think I'm fine with that. A little bit of a rush towards it. All right, so she's going to build using this number 4. So this one and this one. And those are going to go here. So again, she doesn't need to match, but sometimes she just does. So she's able to do that. And she accomplished this goal. So that's why I like keeping these tokens in the spot where they'd be built, just as a reminder. So she accomplished this goal, which is the middle one. So she puts a cube out. And the next time that she'd launch, she's going to launch this shuttle and accomplish that goal as well. So she's coming along with all of her goals too. So let's refill this stuff. Okay. So back to my turn. I'm going to advance to the family. And I said I was going to buy myself, so let's do that. So I'll drop it off there. Now, each of these would normally cost 2, but because of my expert, they only cost 1 each, so I'll spend that. That gives me 5 points apiece, which is a total of 10. So I'll go to 47. All right, so that's that part done. On the day in space. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. What was I thinking? I was leaving that to build here. I already forgot about what I was trying to do. I was going to build that one segment for 7 on this spot. I just had to wait until here. So now I should just make sure that I get enough money so that I can at least build this and not like completely make this day in space wasted because I forgot about what I was doing. That's funny. All right, well, at least I have a turn to let's see. I want to get some money. I can bump myself, so that's good. I don't have a card. Oh no, I do have a card. It's last minute purchase. Yeah. All right. This is worth it. I don't know what my second action will be necessarily. I need 4 money. So I can get $5, 2 reputation, which is another ad, another. So I'd have 6. I would need 4 to build that one. So maybe I would just get some resources and ads for my other action. Because I would have enough. That seems reasonable. So I'm going to bump myself. And let's take another money. I should start removing these. So I can increase what I'm getting. And unfortunately, I will get rid of my last minute purchase, which I like, but I think it's worth it for that. That's going to give me 5 money. And it's going to give me 1 reputation, which through my bonuses becomes a second reputation, and money, and an ad. And then now I'm at the 0 spot, so I can use these developments in the network for free. I do have 8. Okay. I'm actually going to do this instead. Because I just remembered that yeah, this will be even a decent time to do it. I can get her before she finishes this goal too. If I do this. So I'm going to pay 0 to the bank to borrow this development. And then I'm going to build a development. And I'm going to build it into the network. And I do like that connection, especially because it's I mean, it's expensive normally. It's free because I'm at 0. But if I happen to drop down, I think I want to put it there. Plus, it gives me access to all of these things when I'm calling a meeting, which is probably what I'd want. I like being able to get cards. I like being able to advertise. And yeah, I might build more developments later on one of these, maybe. Either that or I can put it here and then have access. Maybe I'll actually put it on this one. So I've already taken 3 shuttles. So yeah, I think I'll actually put it here instead. And which one do I want to do? My fuel technology is going to be maxed out soon. Like I don't think I'll need more fuel, and I can still make this expert cheaper. So yeah, let's go with food. So I'll place it here, and I'll spend the 2 food and 4 money, so that I still have 4 money to do my build later. And then now that I've built a second one in the network, I've got 2 in the network and 2 in technology. That completes this goal. So I can move that up and do this. So I'm going to score really well here, but she might trounce me on the next one. So, but yeah, we're going to do that right now and see. So I have 3 cubes, plus I'm ahead. And in a solo game, it's more rare to be ahead. Like, it definitely helped that I took that as my starting upgrade, so I can move up the track a lot faster. So I'm getting 4 times 4. I'm getting 16 points. So this is very different from the last game I played. Rachel beat me on the other one. So she's getting 1 times 2 for 2. Okay. So that's my turn. Go over to her turn. Doesn't have anything in space yet. Oh, we do need to do this. So this other worker becomes an expert as well. And then the neutral player is going to build on some other locations. Going to build here, here, and here, which nudges this forward. She still hasn't built on technology. That's interesting. What's coming? Okay, so that's that completed. So we will go back to her turn. She's calling a meeting. So that's giving her 1, 2, 3, 4 points. Because it's the expert is giving her 2 funding bonuses. And then on hard mode, she does do an action here, which is going to be to take resources. So she would take 3 fuel, because that's what's available in the what's showing on the display here. But there's not 3 fuel. So instead, we will max it and gain a reputation. So that's her meeting turn. Okay, so back to me. I'm going to a day in space. And I can use this, but it would cost me 1 money. But yeah, that's still worth it. So the base value is free because like I'm at the 0. But because it's advanced here, it's +1. So if I pay 1 to the bank, then I can have my pilot act as a family guest and use this segment to give me 2 money. So I'm getting 1 for each family icon on the shuttle. So I netted 1 from that. So it ended up being good. This bumps up 1. So the next time I do that, or if I build that development there, it'll cost more. So that, that's a little trickier. But and then one of these guests. So normally, like, I could put these orange guests into another one, but like I only have 1 place where they can go, and you can't activate the same one twice. So I'll just have one of my orange guests activate this one, which is build a segment. So I'm going to build this segment over here, and the cost is 4. So I'll pay 4 money for that. So luckily, I'm making up for my inefficient build actions with building during a day in space, because I definitely have not been building the most efficiently with my actions. Okay, so that's my day in space. So I'll take my turn as normal now. So again, I'm back down to like no money. I need to schedule something, and I think I want to launch this one, and I've got two purple people here already, so that feels like a decent one to do. And then maybe I'll take blueprints for my other action. That's probably the way to go. Um, I'm really tempted to flip the money token so that I can gain more money later, but it means that I can't take funding until I launch. Can't take money funding until I launch. But I can still gain money from advertising. So I've got a few other ways. So I might do it because I will be launching as soon as I get the resources. And my fuel one is already maxed, so I have enough fuel already if I take this one. And there's a decent amount of resources here. So okay, that seems fine. So I think I will go and schedule this one. I will take one money and flip that token. And then let's take blueprints. So I need stuff that fits on the right side. Another really expensive one, but gives me lots of reputation. I'm taking all these like really pricey ones. But I will, because it fits with what I have. I would like to gain a bunch of reputation. That'll be great, because it'll be points or stuff here. And so then I need one that has a middle bottom. So let's take that one. Okay. All right. So that was my turn. I scheduled and then I grabbed blueprints. So let's see what Rachel's up to. So she's gonna go to this bottom space here, which does bump me again. I'm quite set up here to get bumped quite a bit now. But I can't take money. So I will take a resource. Since I will need resources, food is the lowest in here, so I'll take a food maybe. Okay, so then she's taking resources right now, which is going to be 3 fuel. And she placed over here, which is connected. So she's going to go again. She's going to hire an expert if it costs 4. So it does not if it costs less than 4. So she's not going to do the top. She's going to do the bottom instead, which is build a development on a technology. So here we go. She's building on a technology. Now, she would always build if there was one that had reputation, then she would just build there. But since there's not, or we always use the number because like if there's more than one that has reputation on it, then she would use the number system to determine which one. But yeah, so we're just gonna use the number system. So it's number 4. So she's building onto targeted advertising. And whenever she builds on here, this moves up 2 spaces. So if she's the first person to build on one, she can really make it expensive for you to also get it. But in this case, it was actually pretty good because now I just have access to this better one. So in a way, that was kind of helpful. So thanks. That's good. That's a good turn. I feel like she's close to being able to score a bunch of points, but we'll see if she can pull it off by the end of the game. All right, so I'm advancing, coming back to Earth. I will take another resource. I'll return these adventurous guests and the cruise. Okay, so by the end of the game, I would like to get this shuttle built and launched. I'm going to launch with my expert next turn. I just need a bunch of resources, so I think I'm literally just going to take resources as my entire turn. 2, 3. Yeah. Because I just need one more food, 3 more oxygen. That seems decent. So I'm just going to go here, take a bunch of resources. So I'll go 3 oxygen, and then 2 food and a fuel. And so that's just both my actions is that. So that was my whole turn. So back to Rachel. Let's see what she's got. She's still trying to hire somebody, but it's not cheap enough yet. She's gonna bump me again. And so at this point, I probably by the end of the game I'll need more ads, so I'll take another ad. But I almost want to just take points. Probably don't need to. Okay, so she's trying to hire somebody. It's still not cheap enough. So she's going to build again. Build a development. And so we're going to use the number system. She's building on spot number 2. She's already there, so she'll go to the next one. So she's building there. And that was the next goal. So she did just do this goal. So that cube's out. We're getting quite close to the end here. And let's see, she placed here and is trying to build. She ended up doing this action, which is build a development. So she would pay the bank effectively. So the only time this comes into play is if I had a yellow here, I would take money from the bank because it's her paying me to use it essentially. But in this case, she's just taking money from the bank to pay to the bank, so nothing happens. But she is connected to this. So she'll get to do another card, which is going to be to launch. Okay, there we go. Now we're seeing some smart plays from her. So she actually gets to just take her worker that she had out and just launch with it. And she's launching a size 3 or more shuttle. And the way that it works is when there's more than one, so like we can launch either of these, we're always going to choose the one that's not launched first. And then if there's a tie, then you go based on which one would score the most. And if there's still a tie, then you go whichever one is to the right. Okay, so gonna use the number system here. So number 1, she's taking this one. This is the one that I'm taking, so she can't take that one, so she goes to the next one. Doing another short cruise. And it didn't have anybody advertised next to it, so she takes the family guest from there. And then the family guest from there. She puts a cube out. Oh, wow. She just ended the game right now. Wow. That went a lot faster here at the end here. So food and fuel, or sorry, food and oxygen. She always has enough. Fuel we check, and because it's only cost of 2, she's got enough for that as well. And now that she's got this other spot here, she would really only have to spend reputation if she had one of the really long cruises that she was taking. So we're going to flip this one and score it. So this one scores 5. So again, we just ignore this because we're not going to have. You don't have to make a ton of decisions so that she's always building right to score the most. So she just scores the points on it. So 5 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3. So that's a that's a pretty good shuttle. So that's scoring 13 points. So she's maybe not as far back as we thought. She's going to load up this. So this is already gone. So now her funding bonuses have just doubled. And she's accomplished that goal. Technically, that's the end of the turn, but let's get a new cruise. So adventurous and family move forward. Adventurous and family come out. So she just completely finished this. So we'd finish out the round, but I was the start player. So we've already finished out the round. So everybody takes their workers back. So I'm getting this one back, and she's getting this one back, which is 2 funding bonuses, and each of them are 2 points. So that's 4 points. I do get 1 funding bonus. I might. Sorry, I guess. Okay, I literally only have. This is my last turn. So I'm gonna be launching. I'm gonna be launching this shuttle. It's not gonna score me a ton. I'm not gonna have time to do this one at all. So that's too bad. But I guess I don't really need anything else, so I'll just take a point. Because yeah, I'm just launching for my last thing, and then we're doing some scoring and stuff, and we'll just see if I had enough to beat her, because she definitely rushed the ending. I had a feeling that like when I did this and scored really well here, that this was going to happen to me. All right, so let's yeah, we're gonna finish out through the last round. So I'm gonna launch with my expert. Take this cruise. Get my purple guests. Very relaxing. That goes back. I do put a cube out. So at least I have something to score there. All right, so resources is 3 food. It is 3 oxygen. And then it is 4 fuel. But I only need to spend 2 because of my space elevator, which has now been upgraded all the way. So I got a discount of 2 on that. So now I'm going to score this and flip it. So 4 points for every shuttle with at least 3. So I'm getting 8 points for that. Flip it over. I load up this so I can gain money now, but it doesn't really matter because it's over. And adventurous. All right. So for Rachel's last turn, she advances to a day in space. She's gaining 2 reputation for her day in space. And then for her action, she's launching again. Look at this genius over here. All right. Of course she is. Man, if she wins this, that's going to be what a comeback. All right. So we've got number 1. So she's doing another. She's just loving these short trips. And we do have room for 2 guests. Putting another cube out. Wow. All right. So then she's got enough for everything again. She's going to score this one. This one doesn't score quite as much. So that one scores 7. Still have a little bit of a buffer. Then she unloads something. So now that she's done this one, it doesn't really matter. She can just take any of these. And another cruise will come out, but it's not going to affect the end of the game, so we're fine. All right, so let's advance our cruises. And I probably actually want to go to orange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can at least get 6 more points from that. If I go to purple, then I am getting an extra 4 points. And I'd have to spend 2 ads, which is maybe a point. Okay, I think I slightly come out ahead. Let's go to orange. Yeah, it felt like I had way more time here. So I could have taken points instead, and that would have been pretty great for this one. So if I go all the way to orange, Yeah, I don't think anything else here is gonna. Yeah, that's not gonna make a difference. So I'm gonna take funding for all my cubes. So I'm gonna get 6 points, and then I will have these ones score using my expert. I only need to spend 1 ad on each of them. So I will get 8 more points. Okay. So then now she gets to advance to both of the places that score her the most. So here, and she's going to drop that off there. So that is 8 points from her. So that puts her to 66. And then this one's going to here, and she's scoring 10 points for this one. So that goes to 76. So she's very close. Very close. Okay, so that was all the advancements. So now leftover points. So for Rachel, you just ignore that. She just doesn't score anything for that. But for me, I do get 1 point for every 3 things that I have. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's worth 2 points. Now the cube scoring. So here's where she's going to demolish me. So 4 times 4, she's getting 16. So that puts her to 92. I do have 2 because I'm highest reputation. 2 times 4 for 8. So that helps. Now points for reputation is next. So she's scoring 8 points. Puts her to 100. I did get to the 15. So that did save me a little bit here. Points for segments built. So I think I had 15 and then 2 more. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Yeah, so I'm at 17. So I'll go to 28. And she has 5, 6. Looks like 14. So 114. Okay, points for developments. She got 5. I also got 5. This ended up being a very fast game in terms of number of rounds, because like our scores are not as high as sometimes, and then the number of launches and stuff was a little bit less maybe. Okay, so that's that, and so now let's do points for shuttles. So starting with her, she's going to get the 5 and the 8 again. So she's getting the 13 for that one. And then the next one was just 7. Okay, so all I need to do is get this many points. So I think I've made it. So I got 7 points for that one. So that just passed her. This one gives me 8 points. And this one scores 2 for every 3, so I have... That's worth 10 points, but then minus 5, so it's worth 5 points. So the final score is 153 to 139, so I did manage to beat her this time. But the other night, she did beat me by a decent amount. So it depends, just like anything with a deck of cards, like sometimes certain shuffles will do things more efficiently. But I do find it interesting how every time I play, she'll do something in the game that feels like another player's playing. Because like I literally like, okay, I want this card, I'm gonna take it later, and then the next action she'll just take it from me.
I was gonna jump in and say on her last turn.
Yeah.
If my computer's gonna let me, I flip over this next card right here.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the one after that? I was just curious what was still left in the deck. And then her expert. I guess she would have hired her expert, but I was gonna say like if on her last turn, if she would have built this and then launched, that would have been interesting. Because I was gonna see if she had lost by less than 10.
Right.
Because then that could have given her a win, but it wouldn't. You would have still won by like 4 points. But
Yeah. Yeah, she didn't build her third shuttle this time. I think
Oh, I guess that one card would have caused that though, right? Like that first one that no, she would have advertised.
she, she would have advertised. Yeah.
Because yeah, if she'd have built another shuttle, that would have
And
at
that
least been 7 or 8 points. So it'd
yeah.
have been close. But yeah, no, that was yeah. She caught up there at the end.
So I rushed the goals because a lot of times, especially when you're playing in hard mode, she will beat you in the goals.
Yeah, you got all three of them first, right?
So the fact that I got all three of them first was great, but then it also meant that just like this happened. It's like
Right.
I got these three, so I scored lots here. I was not expecting it for it to end right there though. Like I think she put up 3 cubes that turn. Because I think she built her development and then launched for her
It
second.
was 3 cubes
I,
in
I
one
can't
turn.
remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
So I was like, okay, I still got a little bit of time, and then she just did that. And this can happen in a real game too. Um, sometimes what I like doing is kind of like sandbagging on purpose, where I may not want to trigger goals until I can trigger them all at once, so that this happens, because it can really throw people off if you
Right.
can pull that off and you can score big there. So you take the scoring hit earlier, um, but it's certainly you can score big for them later, and then also if other players are not prepared, like I was not. At least I was able to launch. If I wasn't able to launch because you know, then I would have been like that would have been really bad for me. But I was set up to launch. I thought I was gonna have enough time to launch this shuttle too.
Yeah, because it could
But
have happened one turn earlier, right? That sequence
if it happened one turn earlier, yeah,
before you scheduled, she probably
that
would
would
have
have
been.
been that would have been bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would have been like the craziest come from behind.
yeah, because I was like, oh,
Hey, you
I'm
think you're gonna win? Yeah, just kidding.
I'm kind of stomping on her, but not really. It can be deceiving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Well, good game.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's the game. Were there any questions in the chat that we should address before we sign off?
I don't think so. Mainly just about what you were playing with, what modules and stuff. But that's been covered a couple times, so I think we're good.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah. Hopefully that was as fun for the people watching as it was for me playing, and you got to see a little bit about how the solo mode interacts with the expansions. And yeah, again, if you ever have any questions, then definitely just let us know. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. I think we do have another live video going on Friday night, so tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
But that's the Play the Game HQ, so it's not going to be me this time.
I think
It'll
they're
be
doing
somebody else.
2 player, but they are playing with some expansion stuff.
Yeah, so they have some physical expansions, so you get to see more of the expansions in action there. But I think this is maybe the last one that I'm doing. So yeah, I guess I'm signing off. But we'll have to, if I end up doing this like more often, I need to get a better setup for streaming and get a light and stuff. Because like,
Well, yeah, we should also try to start the stream on time. That would be exciting.
we'll sort out the technical issues with
Yeah.
YouTube and the streaming, and we'll get better at our streaming setups. Because yeah, I'm kind of just in my dark basement with a webcam. So cool. Well, thanks everyone for watching, and have a good one. See you later.